Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mark, and we're back here for the afternoon call. So today, I was saying I was bullish pretty much majority of the day. We definitely had a bullish tape today across the board. You definitely had different issues. It's a market of stocks, not necessarily a stock market. You have to be selective in what was in play, what was out of play. But overall, the market, the S&Ps, the SPYs, they closed very nice. They basically closed just about on highs. New highs almost. Actually they did close on highs, so it looks good for tomorrow. But I'm a little skeptical just because we've had a bunch of up days, it feels like. But it is coming out of a base. Qs, same type of action. IWM, same type of action. All the indices across the board were strong. So you definitely had selective plays today. Apple had a big move in the morning, and I was saying I think you got to take some off the table at minimum for a rest, because it's had 3 gap ups, and that's really what happened. And it didn't really come in much, but at the same time had a little bit of a island reversal, and it could fill that gap a little bit, maybe back to 125-ish. I wouldn't be surprised, or some more basing is due. Some selective stocks that we talked about on the VTF. I didn't mention this morning. I was long it overnight. Google had a decent day this morning. Looks good. Looks like it's coming out of a nice little tight pattern and possibly moving up, to the 560 level. We'll have to wait and see what happens. The stocks of the day, you had Expedia, Priceline, TripAdvisors, all with the news this morning of Trips earnings, and then the Expedia buying Orbitz news. So that was basically what you had this morning in those type of stocks. Oil tried to rally a little bit. It's forming a nice little base that seems like it's going to break out of this channel, soon. Is it the bottom for oil? I don't know. I don't try to predict that, but it's starting to look a little bit more conducive to me. So USO looks decent, XLE looks decent, and then you can look at the OIH is not as pretty, but you definitely have some nice issues across the board. Banks, another day of gap up, but I think a little extended, probably needs a break. That's Goldman Sachs up there. Citigroup not as much because it's not as extended. Same with WFC and a few other issues across the board. What else? So, the Chinese stocks with Baidu coming out with bad earnings, warned. It recovered. It held its previous low, which was 194, but I think it's going to need some work across the board. And then you had Tesla, which recovered okay, and again held its low, closed above 200, which closed pretty nice with a nice green bar, but it's going to need more time. It's going to have a lot of overhead resistance. It's something I certainly trade, but at the same time, I don't think you got to be crazy with it. Other issues that I've been looking at, Whirlpool had a nice day. Again, I'm looking at stocks that have had good earnings, 3 or 4 days of down movement, a little bit of sideways action, looking to get back involved. I definitely missed some stuff today. LCI I mentioned this morning, another high, basically at highs. EPAM, some little tight little issues, tight little stocks that looked pretty good. But I didn't play them. And again, part of it is that you cannot be in everything in this tape. It's just impossible. It's too fast, and you just got to respect the fact of what you know, and you're going to be in what you're going to be in. And if you miss some stuff, don't beat yourself up over it. Bob actually even had a little bit of a move today. Didn't close great, but it looks like it's trying to find a little bit of a base. I would not be going to it every single day. It's one of those stocks that you can here and there keep it on the radar, but it's not something you need to watch every single day. I know after hours we have Cyber that had decent earnings. I think really good earnings. I think it was a 50 or something like that. After hours, we would have been up a lot more, obviously, if not for American Express, the Costco deal, and that in turn helped Visa and MasterCard. So, and they actually look like day one for most of them. Visa obviously is at highs, and MasterCard has a little bit more to go, but overall it looks pretty good across the board. So we're at highs. We've recovered pretty nicely. It seems like a lot of the Greece news seems like it's coming, to a close. I don't think we're totally out of the woods yet. I still think volatility is here to stay. I just think it's going to be a little bit more sporadic. It's probably not going to be every single day that we're going to be up and down 200 points, but I think you got to continue being flexible. If you're not flexible, if you're not adjusting to this tape, you're going to get yourself hurt. I think it's a pretty conducive tape for traders in general. I think you got to be a little bit quick to the trigger on the sell side, and I think the same thing on the buy side. I think you got to respect the fact that we're in a very fast tape, and if you can get some nice trades out of it, take some off the table. Maybe you don't take everything, take a third, take half. No problems taking profits. Just understanding how the tape is playing out. So, that's where I'm at. I think, some other indice groups that I haven't played but that look good, certainly the home builders. You look at the home building index at highs, had a nice move from, January lows and has moved up nicely. And, you have Toll, you have KBH, PHM, Ryland, I think, looks great. I don't know if I'd chase him now, but on the next pullback, I'd look for them. And then you have some semis, which again, I don't trade them that often, but Cisco had earnings. It's in that realm. But Broadcom, Clack, some other stocks that I think people need to look at. If they're running out of ideas, but at this point, I don't think we're really running out of ideas. I think there's a lot of them, and I think there's now a lot of good-looking charts. But understand, 3 days up, normal rule of thumb, you're going to be taking profits. I think this volatility is here to stay. I think you got to respect your rules. I don't think this market gets too far ahead of us regardless. And that's where we're at. Hopefully everybody had a good day. If you were listening to VTF, at least you were in most of the time the right ideas. Good communication across the board. And have a good night. I'll see you all tomorrow.